Have you ever been too nice and regretted it? Have you ever smiled too much, said yes when you really wanted to say no, or let someone talk over you because you didn't want to seem rude? Have you ever been friendly to someone and then noticed they started to treat you badly? If that sounds familiar, then this episode is for you. Being kind and friendly is a beautiful thing. It shows your good heart. But sometimes, being too friendly can open the door to disrespect. People may take you for granted. They might think you're weak or someone they can push around. And that's not what we want, right? In this episode, we'll talk about how this happens, why it matters, and how to set healthy boundaries, all while using clear, natural English you can really understand. Stick with me to the end. We're going deep into real-life language and real-life situations. Why does this topic matter for English learners? Now, you might be thinking, wait, what does this have to do with learning English? Actually, a lot. When you're learning a new language, especially English, it's easy to feel unsure. You might not know the right words to say no. You might smile more, agree more, or stay quiet just to avoid misunderstanding. That's totally normal. But over time, this can create a habit of being too agreeable, too soft, too friendly. And unfortunately, people can take advantage of that. In this episode, you'll learn how to recognize those situations, how to speak up for yourself politely but clearly, and how to use English to show confidence without being aggressive. This is more than a language lesson. This is about life skills in English. Let's begin. What does too friendly really mean? Let's start with a simple question. What does it actually mean to be too friendly? It doesn't mean saying hello or smiling. That's just normal, polite behavior. Being too friendly means ignoring your own needs just to make other people comfortable. It means always saying yes, even when you don't want to. It means being overly helpful or overly available. And usually it's because you want to be liked. You don't want conflict. You think, if I'm nice to everyone, they'll be nice to me. But sadly, the world doesn't always work like that. Some people respect kindness. Others see it as a chance to take advantage. So we have to find balance. We need to be friendly, but not foolish. Why do people take advantage of kindness? This is an important question. Why do people disrespect someone who's kind? It doesn't seem fair, right? But here's the truth. Some people confuse kindness with weakness. They think, oh, this person is too nice. They won't say no. I can ask them for anything. They may not do this on purpose. It's not always evil. But when people see that you don't set limits, they start to test you. They borrow your time, your energy, your trust, and sometimes they don't give it back. So, if you've ever felt drained or used after helping someone, maybe it wasn't kindness. Maybe it was overgiving, and when that happens, often, it turns into a pattern. What are the signs that you're being taken for granted? Let's talk about some red flags. Some signs that people might not respect your friendliness. For example, do people expect you to always be available, even when you're tired? Do they often interrupt you or ignore your opinions? Do they only call you when they need something? Not to check on you, but to ask for something? And do you feel guilty when you try to say no? If any of these feel familiar, that's not a healthy friendship or relationship. That's someone who sees your kindness, but not your limits. And if we don't stop it, it just continues. The good news? You can change it, and we'll talk about how. Can you still be nice without being disrespected? Absolutely. Being respected doesn't mean being rude. It just means being clear. You can be polite and still say no. You can be kind, but not let people walk over you. Think of it like this. You're a house. Kindness is like leaving your door open. But if you leave it open all the time, anyone can walk in. Strangers, thieves, people with dirty shoes. So what do? You install a doorbell. You decide who gets to come in. That's what boundaries are. You still smile, you still greet people, but you choose how much of your time and energy they get. That's strength. That's balance. What are boundaries and why do they matter? Let's talk more about boundaries. A boundary is like an invisible line. It tells people this is okay and this is not. In English, we often use phrases like, I'm not comfortable with that, or I'm happy to help, but only for a short time. These small sentences can change everything, because without boundaries, you end up exhausted. You start to feel angry, even if you don't show it. You give and give, but feel empty. And that's not real kindness. That's self-sacrifice. So learning to say what you need, kindly, clearly, calmly, is one of the most important skills you can build in English and in life. Why do some people fear saying no? This one's big. A lot of people, especially when learning English, are afraid to say no. Why? Because we don't want to seem mean. We don't want to make others uncomfortable. We think, what if they don't like me anymore? But here's something powerful. People who really respect you will still like you when you say no. In fact, they'll respect you more. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you honest. And when you're honest, you attract better people. People who care about you, not just what you can do for them. What kind of language can you use to protect yourself? You don't need to yell. You don't need to be cold. There are simple English phrases you can use to protect your space. For example, try saying, I'd love to help, but I need to take care of something first. Or, that doesn't work for me, but I hope you understand. Even, let me think about it and get back to you. These are polite. They show respect, but they also show that you have limits. You're not just there to serve. You're a full human being with needs, feelings, and goals. And that's powerful. What happens when you start setting boundaries? This is where the magic begins. When you start setting boundaries, you'll notice a shift. Some people might be surprised. They might push back. That's normal. Especially if they're used to the old you who always said yes. But over time, people start to adjust. They begin to respect your space. And even better, you begin to feel stronger. You feel calmer. You feel more like yourself. And that's when real connection happens. Not because you're always agreeable, but because you're honest and balanced. Is it okay to lose people who don't respect you? Yes. Yes. And again, yes. If someone only liked you when you were easy to control, then that wasn't love. That wasn't friendship. That was convenience. And when you grow, when you protect your peace, some people will leave. That's not a loss, that's a filter. You're making space for real people, real respect, real kindness. The kind that goes both ways. So don't fear the loss. Fear staying small just to keep people who don't see your value. Why do confident people still stay kind? Confident people are often very kind, but their kindness is different. It comes from strength, not fear. They don't give to be liked. They give because they want to. and they can stop when they need to. You'll hear them say things like, "I'd love to help, but I have to rest," or "I care about you, but that crossed a line." They protect their energy, and you can feel it. When you speak English with confidence, with clarity, you send a signal. Not just in your words, but in your voice, your posture, your presence. People notice. How does body language affect how people treat you? Here's something a lot of English learners don't think about. Your body language is just as important as your words. You can speak perfect English, but if you always look nervous, if you avoid eye contact, or if you speak too softly, people might not take you seriously. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. So when you speak English, try to slow down. Look people in the eyes. Stand or sit tall. Let your tone be calm but firm. You don't need to act tough, just grounded, confident. Even if you're still learning, show that you respect yourself. That's how others learn to respect you too. What's the danger of always wanting to be liked? Let's be real. We all want to be liked. That's human. But if being liked becomes the most important thing, you'll lose yourself. You'll start to say yes when you mean no. You'll avoid honest conversations. You'll let people treat you in ways that hurt. Why? Because you're scared of rejection. But here's something powerful to remember. Being liked is not the same as being respected. People can like you because you're easy. But do they respect you? Do they see your value? Respect lasts longer than charm, so don't trade your dignity just to please others. How can you stay friendly but firm? Let's say you're in a situation where someone is asking too much from you. Maybe a friend wants your help again, even though you're tired, or a coworker keeps interrupting you. You want to stay polite, but also protect your space. What can you say? You could say, "Hey, I really care about you, but I need some space right now." Or, "I appreciate you asking, but I can't take that on today." That's not rude, that's real. You're being honest and respectful. That's what friendliness with boundaries looks like. Warm, but clear. Kind, but not overgiving. What's the emotional cost of being too accommodating? Let's talk about the feeling of it. When you're always putting others first, always smiling, always saying yes, it seems good on the outside. People might even thank you, but on the inside, you start to feel tired, maybe even angry. Not at others, but at yourself. You start to think, why do I always do this? Why can't I speak up? That's emotional burnout. And the longer it goes on, the harder it gets. So protecting your time, your space, your peace, it's not selfish. It's survival. It's how you stay mentally and emotionally healthy, especially as a language learner trying to build confidence. Can you unlearn the habit of over-friendliness? Yes, you absolutely can. Like any habit, it takes awareness and practice. The first step is to notice it. When do you say yes too quickly? When do you feel small in conversations? Then, slow down. Breathe. Give yourself a moment before answering. Try using phrases like, "Let me think about that," or "Can I get back to you?" This gives you space to decide, not just react. Over time, your brain starts to rewire. You begin to pause more, to choose more, to speak up more, and it becomes easier. It becomes natural. That's growth. How can English learners build this confidence over time? Confidence in English isn't just about grammar. It's about how you feel when you speak. Do you trust yourself? Do you believe your voice matters? Start by practicing simple, clear statements. Practice saying no in a kind way. Practice asking for what you need, even small things. Talk to yourself out loud. Record your voice. Listen to how you sound. Adjust your tone. Try again. And slowly you'll notice you sound stronger. You feel stronger. That's what we're aiming for. Not perfection, but progress. Step by step, word by word. What does healthy self-respect sound like in English? Healthy self-respect sounds calm, clear, confident. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's statements like, "That's not something I'm okay with," or "I need time to rest tonight, but thank you for asking." It's speaking with kindness, but also with care for yourself, and people hear it. Even if your English isn't perfect, they feel your presence. They know. This is someone who knows what they want, someone who has a voice. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You stop shrinking. You start standing tall in any language. Final thoughts. Be kind, but don't forget yourself. Let's wrap this up with the truth I hope you carry with you. Kindness is powerful. Friendliness is beautiful. But if you forget yourself in the process, if you give so much that you disappear, then it's not real kindness. It's fear. And you deserve better than that. You deserve to be respected, to be heard, to be treated like a full, valuable person, because that's who you are. So go out into the world. Speak your English with warmth, but also with courage. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to pause. Don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Your voice matters, and the more you use it, the more the world will listen.